Greetings. Today is Tuesday, October the 1st, 2024. I'm Chris Elkins, and this is the Daily Article Podcast. Today's article is written by Denison Forum co-founder and CEO, Dr. Jim Denison. Israeli special forces are engaged in limited and targeted raids in southern Lebanon this morning, according to an IDF spokesman. Their purpose is reportedly not to occupy the country, but to allow Israelis living in northern Israel to return to their homes. Israel has been criticized for attacking civilian buildings in its latest conflict with Hezbollah, but this is because the terrorists have hidden their weapons and missile launching positions within civilian villages. In fact, the corrupt warlord Hassan Nasrallah and other senior Hezbollah leaders were gathered in a bunker more than 60 feet beneath a working-class neighborhood in southern Beirut when Israelis' air forces struck the bunker with a series of timed, chained explosions to penetrate it. According to the IDF spokesman, Hezbollah had been planning, quote, to invade Israel, attack Israeli communities, and massacre innocent men, women, and children. By contrast, he stated, I want to make clear, our war is with Hezbollah, not the people of Lebanon. We do not want to harm Lebanese civilians, and we're taking measures to prevent that, end quote. Israel has repeatedly warned civilians before staging strikes, using text messages and voice recordings to urge them to leave dangerous areas. It even warned an Iranian plane not to land in Beirut lest it be attacked. Unlike Hezbollah and Hamas, who are pledged to the genocidal destruction of the state of Israel and the Jewish people, Israel's war aim is to enable Lebanon to seize a post-Hezbollah future for its people while restoring stability to the region. In fact, in the wake of Nasrallah's death, Lebanon caretaker prime minister said yesterday that his government is ready to fully implement a UN resolution that would end Hezbollah's armed presence near the Israeli border and replace them with the Lebanese army in the area. Nonetheless, in a speech to the UN last week, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan compared Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler. Anti-Israel incidents of assault, vandalism, harassment, protests, and divestment resolutions on U.S. campuses escalated 477% across the year following Hamas's October 7th invasion. There was a day when the United States stood unequivocally behind the Jewish nation and her people in the face of their enemies. For example, when the United Nations tried in 1975 to condemn Zionism, the belief that Jewish people need and deserve a homeland, as a form of racism and racial discrimination, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Daniel Patrick Moynihan denounced, quote, this infamous act as a political lie of a variety well known to the 20th century and scarcely succeeded in all that annal of untruth and outrage, end quote. That was then, this is now. Here's the good news. Condemnations on college campuses and behind UN lecterns are less threatening to Israel since they are coming from outside their country. My Israeli friends tell me the nation is united in its resolve to defeat the terrorists who threaten their lives and their future. After leading more than 30 pilgrimages to the Holy Land, I can tell you that her people, while enormously diverse on a wide range of religious and political issues, are passionately committed to the state of Israel. By contrast, the untruth and outrage condemning America are coming from within our nation and imperil our very future. In 1980, the self-described Marxist socialist Howard Zinn wrote A People's History of the United States, 1492 to present. His book has sold more than 3 million copies. Scholars claim that no introductory work of American history has had more influence over the past 40 years. In Zinn's telling, a nation's history is comprised of the fierce conflict of interest between conquerors and conquered, masters and slaves, capitalists and workers, dominators and the dominated in race and sex. He applies such Marxist thinking to American history with devastating consequences. He and the critical theory proponents who have popularized this ideology condemn the United States as a racist project built by white supremacists to advance themselves by oppressing others. Unsurprisingly, a cacophony of liberal scholars have been calling in recent years for the U.S. Constitution to be abolished in response. Such attacks on the moral foundations of our nation are having their effect. In 1998, 70% of Americans considered patriotism to be very important. Today, it's 38%. The younger you are, the less likely you are to believe that the U.S. is among the greatest countries in the world. King David asked in Psalm 11, verse 3, "If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do?" What indeed? As Israel seeks to secure peace for itself in the face of virulent terrorist opposition, I'm praying from Psalm 122, verse 6, for the peace of Jerusalem to be extended to Lebanon and her people. I am praying for an end to Hezbollah's bloody reign that has victimized so many Lebanese, Americans, Israelis, and Syrians over 4 decades. And for the same with regards to Hamas and other jihadist groups that threaten the Middle East and beyond. I am similarly praying for a new regime in Iran, one that would serve the interests of its long-suffering people, and for a new stability in the Middle East that unites Jews and Arabs in building secure homelands for Israelis and Palestinians. I'm also praying for a renewal of American purpose and mission, one aligned with our founding proclamation that all people, from preborn children to racial minorities to the elderly and infirm, are endowed by our Creator with quote-unquote unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I am praying for a return to the consensual religious morality that our founders considered so indispensable to political prosperity. And I am praying for Christians to be submitted to the sanctifying Spirit of God so fully that we can be among the righteous to whom David referred. Paul exhorted his readers in Philippians 1, verse 27 to let your manner of life be worthy of the gospel. America has never needed America's Christians to live such lives more urgently than today. Will you join me? Listeners like you support Denison Forum's mission to deliver news discerned differently. As a ministry nonprofit, we are fully donor supported. To partner with us, please donate today using the donate link in our show notes.